Hello Skele Vaderites and friends of Skele Vader. I'm really excited about today. What you're about to watch is a vlog. I've started creating these vlogs. They're called SVTV and they're just for my Patreon account. So if you are a Patreon of Skele Vader, you have access to these vlogs that I've started doing. I'm trying to do 1 or 2 a month. I'm aiming for that. I missed February, but I have 2 that you can watch back from January if you are a Patreon member. And today I want to share this with the Skele Vader community. For those of you just tuning in, interested in finding out what this is all about, or if you're already watching this channel, if you're already subscribed, and I want to just let you all know that this is just an additional thing I want to offer the folks that donate to this channel. So for just $3 a month, if you're a member of the Skele Vader Patreon account, you will have access to these vlogs, and you will also have access to sneak previews, commercial free, of the Cambridge and Washawn podcast before we post the full episode wherever you find your podcasts. So a lot of cool stuff happening with the Skele Vader Patreon. I'm really excited to share this full Patreon only SVTV Skele Vader vlog with you all just tuning into the Skele Vader channel. Let's get into it. Hello Skele Vaderites, welcome to another SVTV Skele Vader vlog for Patreons only. And for those of you who watch my regular Skele Vader channel, you'll notice that today's video is also posted over there because I wanted to give regular folks who are subscribed to the Skele Vader channel an opportunity to see what kind of vlogs I'm doing over on the Patreon account. So I'm here today to share some interesting things with you all. So I didn't post any vlogs on the Patreon for February, and apologies to my Patreons. Thank you so much for being patient. February was a heavy month, busy month, and ups and downs, but I'm back on track here and I'm excited to share what I have to share with you all today. So today's vlog, I'm going to be going through some things I picked up actually just last weekend. So we're talking the first weekend of March. And I also want to take a moment and say a huge thank you to the newest Patreon, HP Brownsaucecraft. Thank you so much for tuning in. And for you Patreons, and for those of you who are seeing this on the Skele Vader channel for the first time and having seen the SVTV logo or intro video for the first time too, hey, that music, the rad beats that you hear at the beginning there, that is HP Brownsaucecraft. He made those sounds and allowed me to use them for the SVTV intro. So HP, thank you so much. So, all right, here's what we're gonna do today. I wanna talk about some stuff that I picked up. And my wife and I went out grocery shopping last Saturday, and we decided let's stop by a used bookstore and see if there's anything interesting out there. And boy, I found a couple of interesting, cool things. 2 things that I just immediately thought I needed to add to the Skele Vader collection. So I'm gonna go through those, and then I'm gonna talk about something that a friend of mine, a very good friend of the channel, and actually my neighbor, Frank, he actually found something for me out at an antique mall in a neighboring town. And so I'm excited to share all that with you. Now, based on what I'm going to share with you all, I'm interested to know what your perspectives are on this. So if you're watching this, be sure to put comments down in the comments section down below. And if you're watching this on the Patreon, send me a message through Patreon. I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are on these things. And also to see if you're connected to these items in a substantial and special way. So as soon as we walked into the used bookstore, I saw that they had some Ian Fleming James Bond signet paperbacks. And if you're familiar with those James Bond paperbacks, they are very cool looking. And I used to have a lot of these in my personal collection. I sold them off when I was in my late 20s, and I regret that because I had some really nice quality versions of these paperbacks. I saw that they had a small stack of these and I avoided buying them. And the main reason I avoided buying them was that the price was a little bit steep for the quality. They were very, how do we say, well read. So they'd been used quite a bit. There were some dog-eared pages and some damaged covers. So I avoided that. One of these days here on the Skele Vader channel, or maybe just in the Patreon, I will share with you all when I do find some of those Ian Fleming paperbacks. They are so cool looking, and I'm a fan of James Bond movies, and I know James Bond is problematic for a multitude of reasons, but there's something about those early Sean Connery James Bond films. It's the Technicolor film, it's the quality of filmmaking, it's the gadgets, it's the music. There's something very special about those films that I love. And then the Roger Moore James Bond movies from the 70s and 80s, I love those too for a different reason. I saw them a lot as a kid, and so I have a very nostalgic connection to those. And actually my friend Mark and I over on the Cambridge and Washawn podcast, we've already talked about a little bit about Bond, and we definitely have some more Bond conversations coming up. So I avoided those books, so I don't have them to share with you today, but I did find a beautiful paperback that I just could not resist. And that is this one, The A-Team, a novel by Charles Heath. This is based on the television series, and I loved the A-Team television series as a kid. I was a huge fan, and still am a huge fan, of Mr. T. I love Mr. T. I love what he represents, his positivity, and also I love that mohawk. In fact, I had a mohawk in my mid-20s when I was going through a rebellious phase. But yeah, I love the A-Team. I love the van. I love what it's all about. I mean, they are such a cool group of characters. And I found this book. I love this. Every one of them gets straight A's in the School of Survival, from Hannibal Smith, astonishingly brilliant, to B.A. Baracus, awfully ferocious. They're the one team that always makes the grade. Some say they get top place for being absolutely nuts. But any way you look at it, they lead the class in staying alive. I just love that so much. And why is the focus on school? Interesting. So this is a beautiful paperback in very good condition. It just has a little damage right here. And this is the name of the used bookstore. It's called Book Nook. It's in Fresno, California. And that's a cool looking bookmark too, right? And here's the QR code for Book Nook. Folks, if you live in the Central Valley, or if you're ever in the Central Valley of California, you should go visit Book Nook for your used books. Now, I also found another item there that I could not resist. Both of these were priced quite well for what they are. And this one, though, it was a very good deal. And I was interested. I didn't open up the plastic sleeve that it was in because I just trusted that it looked like it was in good condition. And when I got it home and I opened up the plastic sleeve and pulled it out and had a look at it, I was astonished at how nice and taken care of this item was. One of my favorite things to come from Scholastic when I was a kid, the Star Wars treasury of the illustrated storybooks of the films. And it was released by Scholastic. This is 1983. It's got a nice cardboard sleeve and then 3 little booklets. If you watch this channel, you saw a while back I got the original Star Wars one that had quite a bit of damage, and now I have really good quality versions of these books. So we have first the Star Wars storybook notice that it is not called A New Hope. Even on the title page here, the Star Wars storybook. It's not Star Wars A New Hope, right? Beautiful full color photographs and the storyline of Star Wars, the original first film of the trilogy that I love so much. Look at that beautiful Darth Vader on the back here. Absolutely gorgeous. And I think I used to have a poster of this. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I had this book as a kid and love C-3PO and R2-D2 there on the cover. Beautiful. Then, of course, the second book in the series is The Empire Strikes Back. Again, now this time we have Darth Vader on the cover and C-3PO and R2-D2 on the back cover, this time in the Hoth Cavern where they have the Rebel base. And beautiful illustrations here too. Just astounding. And I'm really, and the book is actually in fantastic shape. I just want to find this one image here. I know as a kid, I used to just pore over this image of the bounty hunters. Just obsessed. Obsessed. Love this. So yeah, The Empire Strikes Back book. And then, of course, we also got the Return of the Jedi book here too. And as a kid, I was really impressed by the use of red and black in the movie Return of the Jedi. And you can see that emphasized here with the sail for the sail barge and the two crimson guards there and this beautiful image of Darth Vader between them. And the illustrations here are fantastic. I used to stare at this image so much just to try and figure out who all those characters were inside Jabba the Hutt's palace. You got Yak Face way back there. Yeah, very cool. Admiral Akbar. Admiral Akbar. I love it. So I'm really excited to add these 3 books to the Skele Vader collection. I'm going to take very, very good care of them. I don't want them to get damaged. They are old, they are paper, and they can fall apart if I'm not careful. So I'm going to take very good care of them. And now to show you what Frank found for me. Frank went to that antique store, like I mentioned, in a neighboring town near here. And I think my wife and I are going to try and go there. Maybe we might even bring our daughters. We're going to try and go there this weekend and see if we can find some cool stuff too. Because he sent me a bunch of photos of the Golden Book puzzles from Masters of the Universe. He sent one image over of a particular puzzle that I had never seen before, and I was just blown away by the artwork, and that is this one. He went ahead and picked it up and dropped it off on my front porch and messaged me and said, hey, there's something on your front porch for you. He picked this up for me. I couldn't be more thankful. So Frank, my friend and neighbor, thank you so much for picking this up for me. Look at this incredible illustration. It's just beautiful. I love this stuff. I don't know about you all, but I absolutely love these types of illustrations. And I love the effort and the artistry put into this. Look at the cool little spikes down here in the underneath the bridge. This is a Snake Mountain very much based on the vintage toy, not the Filmation cartoon. And that makes this incredibly special, in my opinion. And I have not opened it up. It is taped closed. The sticker on it claimed that it was complete. So maybe one of these days I will put it together and make a video of that. So the adventure, right? The adventure of going out and searching and finding cool things. I hope for you all that never dies down. I hope that when you're feeling overwhelmed or you're feeling troubled or you're having a hard time, that you go up and do something that you enjoy. And for me, I really enjoy going out there and looking for unique items. And I think that's something that we share. If you're watching this channel, you probably share that with me. I love watching the toy hunts over on other people's channels, Pixel Dan and those folks. That's so much fun to watch. This is my version of that. I like to take you all into antique stores every once in a while, but I think with these vlogs, I can start sort of talking a little bit about the items that I found more in depth and show you all what I've found and talk about why I think it's unique. And so hopefully you'll all consider joining the Patreon. You don't need to, of course. It's $3 a month and it allows you access to vlogs like this. I think it's helpful for me to talk about why this stuff matters, and maybe it's helpful for you too. Now, at the end of this video, I want to leave you all with this. In addition to going to the used bookstore last Saturday, we also stopped by Target, and I found two of my favorite characters in the scale that I prefer, which is I think they're about 3 inches tall. These Jakks Pacific 3-inch tall Simpsons characters. I found Grandpa Simpson. I love Grandpa Simpson. He reminds me of me in many ways. and our daughters always, whenever Grandpa Simpson is doing something funny, it's like they look at me like, I could see you doing that. And then another character that I share some personality traits with too, another one of my favorites, is Milhouse. And so I'm going to be opening these up very soon on the channel and making a little video of those probably this weekend. So keep an eye out, folks. But thank you so much. If you're just watching this because you saw the posting and you're looking through YouTube videos for something interesting to watch and you tuned in, please click like and subscribe. That really helps the channel. Do certainly make a comment down below. And for those of you that are watching this over on my Patreon, thank you so much for being a Patreon of the Skele Vader channel. HP Brownsaucecraft, Allison Troy, Ace, MotuOriginsCork, Thanos Copter, and Julia Honer. Thank you all so much for your contributions to this channel. It helps substantially. And it's so much fun being able to share a more personal approach to these videos with you all. I was a little nervous about doing these, but I'm glad I'm doing them. And I promise to do as much as I can do. I'm aiming for 1 or 2 a month, and hopefully there'll be 2 a month from here on forth. Here on forth? From this point forward. So anyways, thank you so much for being here. Do click like and subscribe. Tell your friends about the Skele Vader channel. You can find me over there on Instagram, and I'll see you in the next video. Maybe I'll even see you over on my Patreon.